Child Protection Services. Who could possibly argue against a government agency whose mission is to save children from child abuse? Sounds good, until you find out that the most militant liberals in America are running the operation, and they have turned Child Protection Services into a weapon that destroys good families and promotes the worst possible child abuse. Being liberals, they are guilty of gross exaggeration. They claim that 1 in 4 children are abused in their home. That is a liberal lie. I was an American lawman for 20 years, and I saw these people in action. They operate by essentially kidnapping children. Often their only information is an anonymous report, and the liberal child savers swoop in and take the children with no credible evidence that any real abuse has taken place. Parents send their kids off to school thinking everything is fine, and bam, their children never come home. The public schools simply hand the children over. Now, the kidnapped children, of course, are scared to death, and they're often told things like, "We know your father's been abusing you, and you're not going home until you admit it." Of course, the terrified children, desperately wanting mommy and daddy, will eventually say anything to get back to their parents, and then the child's coerced statement is used to have dad charged with a crime that never occurred. In Colorado, children have been seized from their home for things like the parents refusing to allow their kids to dress like their school peers. One girl was taken because the parents wouldn't allow her to watch TV after 10 p.m. And in a nightmare scenario, a man crawled through a little girl's bedroom window and sexually assaulted her. Daddy caught the guy, beat the daylights out of him, and held him for the police. Now that should have been the end of the story. But the liberal child savers seized that little girl, saying that her parents were unfit because she had been assaulted in their home. That poor family fought a 2-year legal battle to get their little girl back. As a deputy sheriff, I personally went with 2 child protection workers to investigate one of those anonymous complaints of child abuse. The parents and the little girl were standing right there in front of us, and they gave a credible denial. There was no reason to believe that anything was amiss. But the child savers demanded to be let in the house to investigate, and the father said, "No, if you want to come in our house, you'll need a warrant." And believe it or not, the child saver said, "We're Child Protection Services. The Constitution doesn't apply to us." Well, as an American lawman, I'm not going to stand by for that. I stepped in front of that CPS worker and informed her in no uncertain terms that the Constitution definitely applies to her and all child protection workers. And I further informed her that when Dad says she's not coming in without a warrant, she's not going in. I then recommended to the parents that they immediately take the little girl to her pediatrician and tell the doctor what's going on and have the doctor do a thorough well-being exam. I also warned the parents about sending the kid off to school until this matter is settled. And I do believe that was the last time CPS ever called me to go with them. Now, one major problem with Child Protection Services is that their budget is based on how many cases they make. The more children they seize, the more money they get. Gee, what could possibly go wrong there? And probably the most insidious development today is that many states are declaring, quote, excessive religiosity to be child abuse. And excessive religiosity is defined as parents teaching their children about traditional biblical marriage. Christian parents who refuse to submit to the homosexual same-sex marriage demands are in danger of having their children kidnapped by the liberal child protection workers. And to make matters worse, the fad is to place the seized children into the custody of homosexual couples. Child Protection Services, something that started out as a good idea, has been completely overrun by militant, godless liberals who use it like a weapon to push their liberal politics on America. Now, the best defense against weaponized CPS is the sheriff's office. Every county should ensure that the elected sheriff will defend their family's Fourth Amendment rights. If CPS ever knocks on the door, the parent should say, "Wait right there while I call the sheriff." This is Wild Bill for America, blowing the whistle on yet another out-of-control government agency. Thank you for watching, and America bless God again.